What's up, guys? Scoopman 5000 back for another action figure review, and today we got the big one. This is the Batmobile from the Flash movie, obviously made famous by Michael Keaton, the 1989 version, and here it is being brought back to life in the DC EU. Now, previously we looked at the three figures, but we're also going to look today at the unmasked version of Michael Keaton. Here we go. This has been the talk of the town on that likeness. We're going to get into it. And then obviously the Batmobile, this big gigantic box, as you can see, 22 inches across is what they're advertising here. Now this thing's selling out everywhere. I actually found this in person at Macy's. I had it on order on Amazon, but as it's been happening with a lot of people, it's been canceled. But I drove right to my Macy's and actually found something in a store, which is nuts. I'm in New York, and I don't know if you know anything about it. You don't find nothing in the store. So really good stuff. Very minimal box. It's very similar to the Batmobile from Walmart, which I'm going to compare this to. On the top, you see Flash Batmobile. Then trying to rotate this big box around. There you go. Nice up and close personal with the Flash. And then on the back here, here's a little bit of a angled shot. So let's not stand on ceremony. Let's go ahead. Let's take this open. But before we do that, let's look at Unmasked Batman. And here is Unmasked Michael Keaton Batman out of the packaging. For the accessories, obviously the black figure stand, but then we also get the trading card, and I almost made a mistake and I showed you the original card. I thought it was the same exact one, slightly different Batman photos, otherwise exact same accessories. And you already know from the last video, I'm not really a fan of these, but I could just do without them. So it's the grappling gun, the batarang, and the fist hands. And with that, here we are, the much debated unmasked Keaton Batman. Let's get into it. Let's take him off the table. Let's get up close and personal. Michael Keaton, or Ray Liotta, people have been saying on the internet. But like I said last time, I think we're trying to see young Bruce Wayne here and young Michael Keaton. But this is 30 plus years later. He's 70 years old. He looks different. I like any McFarlane live action head sculpt. We've seen it with Peacemaker, with Dwayne, and even with the Ben Affleck Batman. They're not the best at likenesses, but I don't think this is one of their worst. I think another thing is that he's got the grayish hair, and we've seen very little of unmasked Bruce from the trailers, and I think even if you took this and made it with black hair, it looked just like Michael Keaton Batman. But otherwise, the exact same figure. I will go into one thing though, and that's this chest emblem. It doesn't make any sense to me. Obviously they had to change it, because look, if you take the original figure, right? It's one piece here, the cowl, shoulders, and the cape. It's all one piece. So to have a bat logo here and almost what looks like a ribbon, like a Olympic medal around his neck, kind of doesn't look right. Actually, one second. So just in case if I wasn't clear enough, here's Mezco Batman. I just got this in the mail. Didn't even put the cape on it or nothing. Here we go. Pop that head off. This is how the cowl looks. The logo is attached to the cowl. That's screen accurate. That's costume accurate. Whatever you want to call it. I guess we'll wait and see what it looks like in the actual Flash film. But that's kind of weirding me out. Here he is with the regular release version of Keaton Batman. And I would say only the difference is the head, but you also got to count the upper chest. Great stuff here. I mean, truly surreal to have some nice Keaton action figures for a current movie. Nice 7-inch scale. You gotta love it. And again, I haven't even played with him yet, but here he is with Mezco Batman, and without the cape, he kind of just looks like a little elf in a Batman costume. But I don't think it's really fair without the cape. That'll make the difference, I think. And I thought of this comparison last minute, but it's a no-brainer. Here he is with the Justice League Unmasked Batman. Now, you tell me in the comments, which one of these do you think is worse? I think it is the paint that's bringing both of these sculpts down, especially on Ben Affleck, because he should have a bit of a stubble. But like I said, in the comments, you tell me which one you think is worse. Then if you want your old man Keaton to give Barry a pep talk, here he is with the Flash movie Barry we just took a look at. Finally, with Supergirl from the same film. And here we are with the Batmobile out of the packaging. Big and imposing. Looks really impressive in person. I think it's something where the pictures might not do it justice, because I think it looked kind of plasticky and cheap in those pictures, but the shine here actually looks decent. This is kind of how you get everything out of the box. If you notice, the fins are missing. Those do come separately. And at first, I couldn't really find a difference in the pieces, but they are actually labeled left and right on these little attachment parts here. And when they say left and right, they mean if you're looking at it from the back. So over here, there's a corresponding L, and then you got to line those up. So here's the left piece. These tabs that have to plug in. There you go. They're at a bit of an angle, so you got to fight with it for a second. Do the right side. And there we go with the right, and that is bringing this thing to life. That brings it from a mobile to the Batmobile. And then finally, there is the trading card. And I knew this comes with a trading card. I'm like, where the hell did they put it? It's actually in the cockpit. So we'll go over that now. To open up, hit a little button here. That's going to pop. You just pull it forward, not pull the car. And there's our trading card, the Batmobile. And then on the back, you even get a bio for it. So, good stuff all around. And while we're here, let's bring back Mr. Keaton, and let's try to fit him in this Batmobile. So bring the car up a little bit, kind of put the legs together. I'm assuming it'll be something like that. Bring the arms up, and then the cape, nice and snug. That's the benefit of the cloth capes here. That's why our Ben Affleck and our Michael Keatons for this wave come with the cloth cape. And there we go, and you saw that in real time. You kind of have to push him in there because it's kind of unnatural. Seems like he's actually laying flat almost, and then he just comes up a bit. Close the cockpit on him, and that looks pretty good. You get a little glimpse of the Bat logo inside. But I am interested to see, because if you can notice, our unmasked Michael Keaton here, he's coming right up to the tip there. So the true test is going to be with the original. I'm just picking this guy up again. What a beautiful looking figure. I'm going to lay him a bit more flat this time, and we'll see how the main attraction here, the default Michael Keaton Batman, is going to fit inside of this thing. See, I'm having trouble here already, but seems like it was the same with the unmasked version. Obviously, it's the same body. Alright, now I was able to get him down, but now his cape seems to be in the way. So that's what I was trying to do before. Try to tie the cape up around him, just so it doesn't bunch behind him so much. And there we go. There's our 89 Bat sitting in the front seat there. And you see the ears coming up a bit. So let's try to just close and see what happens. And yeah, they're pushing up against it. So you really got to force them down there. I'm not even sure how they recommend you do this. I'm really pushing here. I mean, I could get them, yeah, I guess like that. You kind of have to go, if you see what I'm doing here. Move him up a bit. You got to take his head almost kind of sideways, come around, his ears will stick underneath it, and then that'll close perfectly. So a little bit of fighting, a little bit of workaround, but there we go. I mean, they advertised it, and we can do it, so I guess I can't really complain. Go ahead, open this up, and get our Keaton Batman out of here. I have like a couple of Keaton Batmans on order. I guess I just kind of went nuts and pre-ordered them a couple different places, so I guess one's just going to permanently live inside of this cockpit. While we're here, actually, let's turn this around. From there you can see the inside of the cockpit, some nice silver details, not a whole lot else. Very classic looking 80s interior with all these dials and even the steering wheel looking old school. And I guess I haven't mentioned it now, but we're still near the cockpit. It's a different color, it's a different plastic. It almost looks like a dark gray. Now in person, and this sounds like an excuse, but in person it's not as bad, but still very unnecessary, and I could definitely see this thing benefiting from a repaint or a re-release. It might be worth waiting for the rumored gold label, which is going to be an 89 proper Batman with this probably similar Batmobile. And I'm sure if they are re-releasing this thing, they'll go ahead and fix that kind of error. Other details worth noting, if we go back to the side here, we've got a nice silver chrome for the kind of underneath engine parts, and then the gold on the Bat logos on the wheels, classic to the Keaton Batmobile. Kind of solid primary red for these back lights, and it's similar in the front. The exhaust ports on this kind of rocket engine in the back. Get a nice top-down view right there, as we did in the original movie. And in the front, almost a gold color, but it's still solid. No lights or electronics going on here. And then the front of that kind of turbine engine that this whole vehicle kind of follows the design of. And this is some truly awful framing, but here it is with the Batmobeast. Got to go handheld for this one. Obviously, this is the Walmart gold label version. I never picked up that original. I always thought it was too expensive, so I guess I'm playing the super long game here. One of the few items I don't own from DC Multiverse. But overall, yeah, I don't have any of my Bat Cycles handy, but you can imagine that's about this size. But if you were curious, if you want to race him against the death metal Batman, here you go with the Batmobeast. And overall, that is going to do it for Unmasked Batman and, of course, the Batmobile. I think both of these, especially, are for the diehard, the collector, and perhaps a fan of Batman 89, even more so than the DCEU, the Flash. Batmobile, despite its flaws, it's kind of a big piece of plastic at the end of the day, but it's special. It feels important. It feels like something tangible. I don't know how to put it, but definitely a special release. Like I said before, though, maybe if you want to try to play the long game, play a little cat and mouse, if you want to live on the edge, wait for that gold label that's been rumored. Usually the rumors are true, but I guess I'll preface it. I won't guarantee that thing is coming out. But if that does, I'm sure we'll see an improved cockpit and then obviously a more true to life 89 Batman rather than our Flash movie version. But like I said before, I like this unmasked version, and I've already said my piece on the Batmobile. If you haven't seen it yet, I did review the regular Keaton Batman alongside The Flash and Supergirl in the previous video. You can check that out. I got a channel full of DC Multiverse, McFarlane toys, Marvel Legends, everything in between. I'm also going to be looking at that Mezco Batman very soon. That's our next video. As always, I'm going to leave it off with some figure photography, and you can check all that out on my Instagram, scoopman_5000, and I'll see you guys in the next action figure review.